So technically we are rolling right now. Hey guys, how's it going? I hope you're all doing fantastic. Today you probably tell that I'm not where I usually am. Right now I'm down in the south of Western Australia with my buddy Tom over there. And we're in a place called Bridgetown, and we've just come down for the week to take some photos, and I want to share with you the videos and the photos from our first day here. We arrived in at about midday, I think, from memory. Was it midday? Yeah, about midday. And once we arrived, we kind of dumped all our gear inside, and then we headed out and tried exploring the paddock here on Tom's property. So there's a few paddocks down below, and we just walked around and started taking some photos. I shot the whole day on my Fujifilm X100F. As I'm sure you can imagine, I didn't really change it up like usual. So all the shots you're gonna see today was shot on this camera, and there is a time lapse in there that was shot on Tom's GoPro that I wanted to share with you too. After we did a bit of exploring down here, we decided to get in the car and do a bit of exploring around town. So Bridgetown is this really small country town here in WA. It's quite hilly. It's one of the few places near Perth that you can get some sort of elevation. So we tried to take advantage of that. So we got in the car and we did a bit of driving around to try and find some height. It's really difficult to get those sorts of shots on the coastline because there's not a ton of cliffs. So being here in the hills, it's kind of hilly, you can get different perspectives. And we didn't, like on the Fujifilm X100F, it was quite difficult to get that, but Tom was managing to get a bit on his 70 to 200. But with this, it was still nice to be up a bit and kind of getting some different compositions than I usually would. My most favorite spot from the afternoon would have been Tom and I pulled over on the side of the road, kind of in a bend in the road, and we got a really nice view of this kind of hilly paddock in a bit of a valley. And here we kind of tried to climb up the muddy banks and get some shots, but here, WA in the wet isn't always the most pretty to photograph, but we were making the best of the situation, and fortunately enough, the rain did hold off for us, so we'd managed to get a few more shots here before starting to head home. By the time we got home, it was pretty dark and we needed to go chop some wood for a fire. Tom kindly volunteered and I wanted to try do a few flash photos on the Fujifilm to see if I can get anything. The photos that I did capture were actually pretty average, if I'm completely honest. The camera was really struggling to grab focus. It was super dark. I didn't really have much ambient light to use. So the photos here weren't that great, but it was still really fun to experiment with it, because in one of my other videos I spoke about how I do use the flash, and it is a really cool feature that I like to take advantage of. Unfortunately, in this case, it wasn't the best and didn't work as good as I would have liked it to, but we still had a bit of fun and managed to get a few more snaps before it got way too dark and we were just way too exhausted. So for our first day, this wasn't actually too bad of a start. I came down with minimal expectations on the first day because it was meant to be pouring rain all afternoon. So we were quite lucky that it did come down in patches and we managed to get some photos that we were pretty happy with. It was definitely a different start for me, and shooting in this green location was actually super fun. I really hope you enjoyed these photos and I look forward to making another video for you this afternoon.